To write or not to write? That is the question. This video is all about writing effective emails, emails that will actually be opened and responded to. Hi, Christine Harrington here, your YouTube sales coach. So you're in sales. You write emails, right? Are your emails read or do they end up in electronic trash? Here are a few tips, and these are from Frank Luntz, who wrote Words That Matter. These are successful communication rules for writing, whether it's an email or an article. And if you're in sales, you should be doing both. Number 1, simplicity. Use small words. Avoid using words that may cause your reader to reach for that dictionary. Yeah, it may make you sound all smart and everything, but if the reader has to continue to look up words to read your article or email, they're going to hit delete. Number 2, brevity. Be brief. Don't write War and Peace, and use short sentences at all times. And never use a sentence when a phrase can actually do the job. Never use 4 words when 3 will do just fine. Get the message, keep it brief. Short sentences. Credibility is just as important as philosophy. Now, what do I mean by that? If you can quote credible sources in your emails and your articles, that will go much further in developing your credibility than your own personal philosophy. As Lincoln once said, you can't fool all the people all the time. If your words lack insincerity or they contradict accepted facts over circumstances, they'll lack impact. The next tip, consistency matters. Repetition. Like the Energizer Bunny. Language is the same thing. Good language is the same thing. It just keeps going and going and going. Find a good sales message and stick with it. For example, my message is sales is a journey, not a quick trip around the block. Develop your own message. Coca-Cola products created It's a Real Thing. Wheaties created the Breakfast of Champions. Create your own personal tagline, and people will remember you because of it. The next tip, novelty. Offer something new. You should be telling your customers something that gives them a new spin on an old theme or an old message. If you're successful, the new message will bring a sense of discovery, and it will fascinate your prospect as well. If your message creates a "I didn't know that" response, you know you've hit the mark. Next, sound and texture matter. Frank says, the sound and texture of language should be just as memorable as the words themselves. For example, Alka-Seltzer says, plop, plop, fizz, fizz. Oh, what a relief it is. M&M's melts in your mouth and not in your hands. Remember that? So create something where sound and texture matter. Speak aspirationally. That's the next tip. Your message needs to say what your prospecting customer wants to hear. How many times have I said that? And this is the one area that politicians, frankly, have over corporations. They always have the message that the constituents want to hear. Doesn't mean that they do it, but they give that message. You need to create a message that touches that prospecting customer in a personal way by speaking to their deepest hopes, their dreams, their vision, where they want to see their company go. And really what you want to do in order to be successful in messaging is to create a personalized and humanize the message to trigger an emotional remembrance. Now the next step is visualize. The slogans that we remember from the past usually have a strong visual image along with the words. How many of you remember growing up in the 60s, the advertisement of Santa Claus riding down a snow-covered hill on a I can't even say the word, Norelco electric shaver? Remember that? You've got the visual in the head of him sliding down the slope, and you know it's the razor. Allstate did a good one back in the 50s. You're in good hands with Allstate. It's a visual cue of remembering Allstate. Your logo, your branding, your messaging all ties in with how people remember you, and that's how you can fascinate your prospects and your customers. The next thing is ask a question in your messaging. Got milk? Wasn't that a good one? Sometimes it's not what you say that matters, but it's the compelling question you ask. And the last tip is provide context and explain relevance. You need to explain the why of your message before you can tell them the therefore and the so that. So the next time that you communicate with a prospect or client, before you send that email, think of these 10 tips that Frank Luntz gives us for effective, successful communication. I'll have the entire list below in a link where you can click it and use it as your cheat sheet when you are composing your next email and your next article. Now, I have a question for you. What are your most effective communication tips that you find are really successful? Would you leave your comments below? And if you're new to my YouTube channel, I invite you to subscribe. And remember, sales is a journey. It's not a quick trip around the block. Thanks for watching. Until the next time, bye-bye. My last tip is if you are in sales, you need to own this book. It's that good.